What's up guys, Walk here, and today I'm coming at you with the single best gym rebattle strategy that I've ever found. So, there's a couple different variations of this team. We're going to start with the cheapest one to breed, which I feel is going to be important for a lot of people. This is the easiest to get going, and it all revolves around the truly absurd power of plus special attack nature on your Typhlosion, combined with max EVs, which again are free. In terms of IVs, you only really need the one, but I go for speed just in case, it never hurts. And then you combine that with choice specs for another 50% damage increase, and you combine it with the Sun from Torkoal, right? So you have a Drought Torkoal. Now, the idea of Drought Torkoal plus Typhlosion clearing gyms is by no means new. I feel like this strategy, though, is one of the best at consistently getting it up and giving your Typhlosions the best chance to sweep gyms as easy as possible. Now, Typhlosion's problem is that it's not particularly fast. It's not slow by any stretch of the imagination, but against gyms where trainers are rocking Choice Scarf Pokemon or Jolteons, you're not going to be as fast as you need. So, that's why we have our low-level Prankster Tailwind Cottony. What Cottony does is it basically has a priority Tailwind, so you can run into problems with Fake Out Mons. However, most all of the gyms that have a Fake Out Pokemon that they lead are gyms where you outspeed all of their Pokemon naturally with just a 31 IV and max speed EVs on your Typhlosion. So, it works functionally every gym. More or less the only gym you can't use this team to speed clear is going to be fire gyms, because they'll have a Flash Fire Pokemon. So we'll get into the basics here. We'll just show you the worst case scenario. So when I say you can clear every gym besides fire, I mean every gym. Like, we're going to go into this rock gym. You can go every gym with 4 times resist Pokemon, absolutely destroyed. Multi-scale Dragonite, another bulky one, absolutely destroyed. So you're going to lead Torkoal plus Cottony, right? Let's get in here. So in this version of the team, what we've done is we've just made them both super low level. What you want is you want your first 2 Pokemon to die so that you can have 2 other Pokemon come in. And the reason you need 2 attackers, both hitting, is because of sturdy Pokemon, focus sashes, multi-scale. There's a whole bunch of reasons why you can't one-shot no matter how powerful one Pokemon is. But with 2, you can always one-shot with Typhlosion. So we'll just click any move on this guy, and we'll click Tailwind on our Cottony. Now, Cottony uses Tailwind because they have no priority, and as you notice, we get the Sun up because level 14, in this case Torkoal, he's survived a couple battles where he's supposed to die. Level 14 Torkoal always is much slower than a level 81 Gigalith. Now, the field is set. We have Sun up, we have Tailwind, and we have 2 Typhlosion. Here, we're just going to go ahead and click our double eruption and watch everything die. I believe this gym often has some 4 times resist Pokemon, so I can show you that even on something like, what are some common ones? They have Kabutops, Amistar, and that turtle thing that can be annoying with Shell Smash. Yes, absolutely bodied. Only one Typhlosion, resist, doesn't matter. So, while we're playing out the rest of this battle, as the strategy should be pretty clear, Terracosta, there it is. We can just spam our spacebar, keep shooting our eruptions. So see, sturdy, on mods like this is why you really need 2 attackers. The second one doesn't need to be a Typhlosion, but Typhlosion, because it's a starter, has super high EXP growth, so leveling a Typhlosion to level 100 is much faster than leveling almost any other Pokemon to level 100. Also, you really want the second spread move to hit, and it turns out there's very few 100% accurate spread moves in the game that only hit your opponents. Most of them are pretty bad, although in this case, even if you happen to have a bad one lying around, like Incinerate. Not Incinerate, sorry. Is it Incinerate? The weak fire move. I'm not going to go over all of them. But the best one is, of course, Eruption. Eruption is one of the few 100% accurate moves that always hits both opponents' Pokemon. It just also happens to be the strongest. Eruption has the best of both worlds. So we have this combo here. If you already have one level 100 Pokemon and you're really trying to be cheap, you can just use 1 Typhlosion. If you haven't started this and you're looking to build a team, I'd really recommend 2 Typhlosions. Not only can you level them incredibly fast, but the whole process of breeding them and getting them ready is super cheap. Now, the items here can be expensive if you see I'm using double choice specs. But if you look at the damage that we were doing to those Pokemon, you do not need double choice specs at all. I use it because, I prefer to deal as much damage as possible, and to reduce any risk. So let's say something freakish happens, we get outsped and one of the Typhlosions dies, well, 1 Typhlosion with choice specs can still sweep a whole gym. So that's what there's for. We'll go ahead and we'll do this gym, right? I could follow this up by going to every gym. And you do have to heal between gyms, which is one downside, but there's almost no team that can clear every gym without having to heal. So in this case, you just always have to do the same thing each time. So I feel like that saves more time than using a team that has a complicated battle but might not need to heal. So we'll get into this. This guy sometimes has a fake out Raichu, so we can show you what happens in that case. And then I'll get into a couple of variations of this team after this battle. Okay, Manectic Raichu. So Raichu can fake out, which, you know, has a 50% chance of hitting our Cottony. That's the reason why you have Torkoal at low HP, so that the game will calculate a KO on both of your Pokemon. So that way it's just a slightly higher chance you get the Tailwind off, and also there's a low chance he even uses Fake Out. Cool. So, let's explain kind of the reason why we came up with this team. So instead of just leading Torkoal plus Typhlosion, that leaves you weak to A, your opponents being just faster than Typhlosion, naturally. Even though they're lower level, that can happen. But also, that leaves you vulnerable to a couple things, like that initial Typhlosion getting damaged, because Torkoal is so slow that if you make your Torkoal super fast with a Choice Scarf, I mean, fast by Torkoal standards, it's still slower than a lot of Pokemon that could hit Typhlosion, and of course, if Typhlosion's HP drops below 100%, the damage of Eruption goes down. So you have Pokemon that will be faster than Typhlosion, or slower than Typhlosion with a Focus Sash, and faster than Torkoal, that can reduce the power of your Eruption. Or you're going to run into other weather setters, like that Gigalith we just saw, which, if you do invest fully into speed with something like a Choice Scarf Torkoal, then they're going to be fast, or you're going to be faster than them, and so their weather takes priority. Now, another thing you'll notice is that this team is only 4 Pokemon. I'm not just doing that to show that these are the 4 best Pokemon. We're only at 4 Pokemon for a reason, and that's because on lots of these trainers, you'll notice that they have Red Card. Not lots of them, but there's quite a few gyms that have a chance to use Red Card, and Koga almost has a full team of Red Card Pokemon. And what Red Card does is if you hit the Pokemon with Red Card, you get forcibly switched out. Now, if you only have 2 Typhlosions, this doesn't do anything. Theoretically, the best version of this team is just a 3rd and 4th Typhlosion, right? So that no matter what, they knock you into more Typhlosions, and you have more fail-safes. But, I mean, at that point, you've invested so much money into Typhlosions that isn't really worth it for a speed strategy. All right. Cool. Thanks for the money, Watson. And with Watson, I've had him fake out me. I believe I've outsped Watson's Raichu and some of his other faster Pokemon. So I'm not quite sure how much the game invests into EVs. It seems to depend. There are a few Pokemon that will outspeed Typhlosion. Not many. But, you know, we just try to play around that with the Tailwind. So, let's get into some other variations here. One thing that you'll notice is that I have the Fly Ocarina, which means I can fly around with a party of 4 Pokemon. But if you don't have one of those, and if you're new to the game and are trying to get money, buying one is probably not advised. So, in that case, you're going to need something that can still fulfill this role of Tailwind Setter plus Drought Pokemon without Fly. Because remember, if you have another Pokemon in your party that knows Fly, there's a chance one of your Typhlosions gets Tailwinded into, or gets swapped into it. Now, some ways to deal with this are, let's say, your other AoE Pokemon is something like an Aerodactyl. Right? Aerodactyl could be your fly Pokemon. It's also, you know, fairly decent for competitive, so having an Aerodactyl is never a bad investment. But Aerodactyl, this would be Rock Slide, of course, for this scenario. So you can have your Aerodactyl that knows Fly, and if you do get red carded into Aerodactyl, that's fine. Rock Slide lets you break Focus Sashes, and that's its job as usual. Let's go ahead and we'll throw this in possibilities. In terms of the best Pokemon for this slot, I think it's going to be Golbat or Crobat. And so that's because you no longer have Prankster. So the opponents can be faster than you. What that means is that Golbat and Crobat bring the ability Inner Focus, so they can't be flinched. This way, you're able to get off your Tailwind even if your opponent leads a Fake Out Mon. But now you need to wait for Golbat and Crobat to die. Because Crobat or Golbat have to be actually fast enough to get their Tailwind off, they need to have some amount of levels on them so that they can outspeed the opponent's Pokemon. And if they have some amount of levels, there's a chance they won't die, and if only one of your Pokemon dies, you end up with that desync where you potentially have a Typhlosion that's not able to kill your opponent's Pokemon. Or that's, you know, able to knock one of them down to a Focus Sash, and that Pokemon's not being finished off. So, in that case, I recommend that you use a high-level Torkoal with Eruption. Or sorry, with Explosion. Explosion on Torkoal, the whole job is just, if somehow they don't kill your Golbat and your Torkoal, you get your Tailwind off, and then Torkoal wipes the board. Now, there are some issues that can arise with this, such as what if they fake out on the Torkoal? That's not a huge problem, as there's still a decent chance they kill your Pokemon, and if not, Torkoal's still there to just Explosion next turn. This battle is so quick that you don't run out of your Tailwind, so the battle's still fine. That's one strategy. It's a little more expensive, as you have to level up a Torkoal. I found this, because really the only thing this needs to be is a decently high-level Torkoal with Drought. I think I got this one for like 30,000, right? It's just like no stats. Someone leveled up random Torkoal and decided to sell it. So like the stats on this really don't matter. There's only 2 IVs that matter. That's your speed and special attack on the Typhlosions. And if you're using a different Pokemon besides Typhlosion, so the weaker it is, the less gyms you can hit. If you're running something like Aerodactyl Typhlosion, which I think is a decent combination for this. So Aerodactyl's naturally faster, which is good, which means that if red card happens, Aerodactyl gets switched into something. So if you have Aerodactyl as your fly Pokemon, and I potentially could just do this, right? You could run these 2 up front, Aerodactyl Typhlosion. That's an option. Now, also, I suppose you could put the Tailwind on Aerodactyl and try to eliminate this Cottony roll. You could run like Focus Sash, Aerodactyl, Lead. Well, with Focus Sash, there's a potential that, you have to buy new Sashes in between runs, so probably not Sash. You could run, I prefer Wide Lens, actually, because all of this Pokemon has to do is hit. They don't really have to do that much damage if you're running Specs Typhlosion. So if you're running Specs Typhlosion, I would say Wide Lens, Aerodactyl, Rock Slide. That way you have a 99% chance to hit. You can still miss, but, like, no strategy is perfect. It usually always works. So that's one option. You can use this as the Tailwind Mond. So in case something happens and your leading Pokemon don't die, it can then just transition into being your Rock Slide Mon, and if your Pokemon do die, perfect. So maybe a more perfect team is something like Aerodactyl, really low health Torkoal could work. I've looked at this extensively. There is no perfect team that always covers every situation for every gym leader's possible Pokemon. This setup here covers basically every situation, and the worst case situations are super rare. Like, even if that Raichu did fake out, we still outspeed and kill his team. If he does fake out, there's a 50-50 chance of him not to hit our Pokemon that's using priority, and so just down the line, there's more and more fail-safes. But cheapest team, you just grab your level 1 and level 1, make sure that this one has Prankster, and make sure that this one has Drought. They don't need to be level 1, of course, they just need to be low enough level that they die to any hit, because you want them out of the way as soon as possible. I mean, Explosion on Torkoal would be best, so if somehow they double target Cottony, or like one of them goes for a status move, and Torkoal lives, it can kill itself, right? That's just another failsafe, which you can probably do, but as you've seen here, I've been clearing lots of gyms with this. It's an extra failsafe that's by no means needed, so I've been getting a lot of questions about how to make money fast in this game. You go with this strategy. You get your 2 Typhlosions, and yeah, that's the strat. Now, if you came here for a gym strategy, here's that. Now I'm going to explain how to get these Pokemon, so if you're familiar with that, you've been playing the game for a while, go get your Typhlosions. If you're not, come follow me over to Unova. Now, if you haven't done Unova, and let's say you've only played, Hoenn, right? Because we're going to say you picked the best generation to start on. So you've only done Hoenn, and now you're just like, I want to build a competitive team. How do I farm in just Hoenn? Buy a Typhlosion on the GTL, and just try to level it up and EVA here. The best answer is just do Unova. Not only do you get a bunch of money for completing the gen, couple 100,000. The exact number really depends on what all you do, but you'll make quite a bit for completing a gen. It's just fun, right? Pokemon games are fun. That's the whole reason we got into this mess. And at the end of it, you'll have access to Unova. So the reason I recommend that is that in Unova, you're going to have the best place to train your special attack EVs in Hordes, which is right here. The best place to train your speed EVs in Hordes, which is right here on Rapidash. And in Giant Chasm, you'll have the best place to level up your Typhlosions, which is using, once again, Horde training on Piloswine. Now, the reason why I say that's the best place is because A, it just mathematically gives the most XP, And even though it's further from a Pokemon Center, which is why I usually recommend using the Tentacruel in front of Victory Road in Emerald, Typhlosion, as soon as you finish EV training, and even before you finish, like right towards the end, at around level 50-ish, you'll learn Lava Plume. Well, you'll learn Lava Plume earlier. At around level 50-ish, you'll be able to use Lava Plume to kill the hordes of Typhlosion yourself. To kill the hordes of Piloswine yourself with just Typhlosion. That means that all the XP goes onto Typhlosion, so it's much faster to level it that way. You can level up 2 at once. If you want, I think I would recommend using an EXP Charm. Not the 100%, just the 50%. As you notice, it's drastically cheaper. EXP Charm. So yeah, 50%. You just drop 30,000. It makes the whole process a lot faster. As you notice, like, it's much more efficient than buying a 25%, and you're not going to be there long enough for the 100% to be worth it. The other thing you're going to need for this are Lepa Berries. I don't know the exact number, but because it depends on the EXP Charm and yada yada. I would say probably 20-25-ish per Typhlosion, right? So up to 50 max if you're doing 2. Lepa Berries are never bad to have, and it's easy to sell them back if you buy extra. So you can use these, of course, for shiny hunting or EV training if you're familiar, where for the EV training, all the locations are quick back to the Pokemon Center. For the Giant Chasm, to get your experience, though, it's quite the trek, and you have to go through a cave and this whole big ordeal. So I really don't recommend running back every time you clear a couple hordes. Just grab your Lepa Berries, grab your Smeargle, PP max your Smeargle for a Sweet Scent, or whatever Sweet Scent Pokemon you're using. I just use Smeargle. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and show you all those locations if you, let's say, haven't watched the EV training videos and don't know what I'm talking about, in which case, hey, these are the best places to train your EVs. Let me go ahead and grab just an example of the team we're talking about. So we'd grab something like a Sweet Scent Pokemon. For me, it's Smeargle. For a lot of people, it's Smeargle. And then something that can AoE. I know some people just EV their Smeargle to have good attack, and to have, for this last spot, something like Earthquake. That works too. That's actually more efficient, but I didn't do that. So I stick with my Earthquakemon. And for this Earthquakemon, I actually just try to level up different Pokemon. So I was using Aerodactyl most recently because as you're EV training, that's more free experience. And after the first one, of course, never mind. The Rapidash here have Flash Fire, or have a chance to have Flash Fire, so it's not worth it. So this is where you're going to get your speed EVs. And of course, we encounter a Pokemon on the first tile. Alright, so you're going to go right over here. You're going to use your Sweet Scent, which I'd really recommend key binding right up here. Mine's on the spacebar, yours can be whatever. So you use Sweet Scent, a Horde of Rapidash appears. Of course, you'll have an EXP share in your Cyndaquil, and bada boom, Horde of Rapidash, use Earthquake, they all die, easy XP. Also, technically there's a chance that it's shiny. I've EV trained like 50, 60 Pokemon over the course of this game, and never found one, but technically you do encounter a lot of Pokemon, so there's a good chance. Now we'll go over here to Opelucid City, or however you pronounce it, and you once again just go left in the Pokemon Center, and then right over in this first patch of grass, here, if you use Sweet Scent, you'll find a Horde of Typhlosion. And these give 2 special attack. So each horde is 10 special attack or 10 speed for the Rapidash. So just clear those out, and you'll max the EVs fairly quickly on your Typhlosions. Now, in terms of actually getting a Typhlosion, you can catch them in the Emerald Safari Zone if you've beaten the Elite Four, but that's kind of a bit of work. So I generally recommend that you just buy one from the GTL. If you're a big stickler for OT, like I was for one of these, you can go out and catch that Cyndaquil. It takes kind of a while, because it's a fairly rare spawn, and catching Pokemon in the Safari Zone, I know. But it's kind of fun if you enjoy that. Otherwise, pretty cheap just to buy a quick one. I would say, don't actually buy a Cyndaquil with special attack IVs. So look at this. The cheapest Cyndaquil you can get is 25,000. Boom. But if you were to try to find a Cyndaquil that already had special attack or speed, it becomes much more expensive. So if you take the Cyndaquil, right, you just buy the cheapest one you can find, male, 25,000, and you just breed it with a 31 special attack. Ditto, suddenly much cheaper to combine the two of these. So you have the combined cost of 25,000 plus 8,000 plus 10,000 for the brace, much cheaper than 60,000, right? little over 40 something. Just give or take 44 in that example. So that's that. And then you, of course, then breed that 1x31 Cyndaquil with another 1x31 Ditto. You just buy the speed Ditto, breed them together, and there's your 2x31. You can go with any special attack increasing nature that doesn't reduce your speed, as you're never getting hit, so the drop in defense doesn't matter. This guy just happened real modest. This guy, I happened to find a cheap one to breed up Rash. The reason I did that is because people know that modest is good for PvP mons. So if you're trying to find a, let's find modest here. If you're trying to find a modest 31 special attack Ditto, because you combine a 1x31 Ditto with a, so you take a 1x31 Ditto, combine that with your 2x31 Cyndaquil, and that's how you'd get nature onto it, because you'd hold an Everstone on the Ditto. If you're not familiar with that, I have a video on breeding. I hope that's helpful. So look at this. If you want a modest 1x31 Ditto, boom, you're shilling out about 35,000 plus. But if you were to say go for Rash or whatever the other one is, I don't actually know. I don't use them in PvP because it's bad to not have defenses, and so I don't know them offhand. Suddenly, look, you're getting the exact same effect on your Pokemon. You're getting that special attack nature, but you're still just paying 8,000. For your first Ditto, this doesn't matter unless you hold an Everstone. The parent's nature has no effect on the child, so the nature is just randomly rolled. I always recommend that you randomly roll it first, because there's a chance your baby just pops out with Modest or Rash on it, in which case you don't have to do the second step. But if it doesn't, just buy a Rash Ditto, breed that, bada bing bada boom, and now you have your baby Cyndaquil. Just EV train it in 2 locations. After EV training it, it's up to around level 50. Then we'll go to this cave. I'll use a Repel, because, you know, I don't want to deal with random Pokemon. Alright, so we're going to go up through here. I don't know if you have to actually beat the Elite Four to get access to this place. But that's something you'll find as you beat Unova. Also, play the Unova Elite Four. It's a treat. Also, remember to bring Surf, because you look like a goober on video, and you might be too lazy to edit that part out. Oh wait, never mind, you don't need Surf. I'm not going to edit that, because laziness. So, you're going to go right down here, to this patch of grass. You'll go ahead and use your Sweet Scent. And lo and behold, a horde of Piloswine. Always a horde of Piloswine, and this gives very high EXP. Nothing will gain EXP here, so I can't really show you, but take my word for it, it's a lot. 10,000-ish? One of those. This is the highest place to get it, though. So, there we go. And, of course, Typhlosion can do it itself with Lava Plume as soon as you finish EV training. And, yep, that's basically it. So I'd recommend you just go here. You have your Lepa berries, right? So you just click on your berry, go to the Pokemon, click on the move. It's faster than going back and forth every time. And yeah. So that's the Typhlosion strategy, how to get it going, and where to use it. The couple of variations, you can use Golbat or Aerodactyl are probably your best options. One other thing is that there's 2 or 3 gyms where you need Cut to get to the gym. Erica and Lieutenant Surge come to mind, and Typhlosion can learn Cut. Just teach Typhlosion Cut. You'll only ever need Eruption for the actual fight. They have other moves just because that's what they learned. You're never going to need them. You only ever click Eruption on Typhlosion. So yeah, that should just about cover every gym for you. Of course, when you are beating the gyms, you're going to want to use, at the very least, an Amulet Coin. Let me go ahead and pull those up just to show you. So, with an Amulet Coin, you will get 0.5 or 1.5 times money, so 50% more money. And if you look, the cost of an Amulet Coin is 17,000. Now, for each gym that you beat, you get around 9k-ish. I suppose we can go, maybe scroll up. Okay, yeah, so around 9k-ish and find the exact number. So for each gym that you beat with an Amulet Coin, you're getting an extra, let's call it 4.5 thousand, right? So if you beat 3 gyms in the hour that your Amulet Coin is running, this will be faster. And if you saw from earlier, you're beating these gyms in about a minute and a half flat. So you can clear basically all the gyms from all 4 generations. I generally avoid the Sinnoh ones, or the later Sinnoh ones, just because they have really long gym puzzles, and getting to the gym leader takes drastically longer than defeating them with this team. So there's that. So just make sure you avoid the fire gym leaders, and you can kill everything else. You can use Charcoal for Typhlosion, because I know Choice Specs is expensive. I would recommend getting a Specs, because it's a pretty good item, but If you're just using this team to make money, and you have a competitive team in mind that doesn't use specs, just use charcoal. If you're running double typhlosion, it does not matter. I don't even know if you need charcoal, just to still kill everything. And obviously, any gym that doesn't resist, like gyms with Chansey and Blissey, I've tested it. You one-shot Chansey and Blissey with specs. You might with double typhlosion charcoal. I think you would with charcoal. But that being said, it's a Chansey or Blissey. It's not doing much to you. You'll still sweep the gym just fine. So yeah, that's the team. Hope you guys enjoy. And get out there and get ridding your typhlosions if you've ever wanted to make money quick. All right, see you guys.